So this is part 6 or 6 NEA of all the part 1 investigations that you've been doing. You'll recognise this slide. It's what we seem to be starting off with on Miss Steele's wonderful PowerPoints. It's what she's putting in all the time to try and help you understand where you are in this project. So this project goes through till March, and we at the moment are looking at part 1 investigation for 16 marks. You've actually done the first bit now, so that's good news, which is 8 marks for the needs and wants. We're on to the product specification, which you should have started last week, looking at putting in a chart, looking at putting in your design brief, and adding the initial specification points. So this next slide just tells you what we're going to do this time. So we're putting in the justification for the specification points and how we're going to test those specification points. So this slide here shows you one that has been already created. It's not created for your context, so don't look at it and think, oh my goodness, mine doesn't look anything like that. They're just specification points that have been created for another project, but they're in the same idea of what you need to do. So don't copy them because they won't relate to any of your contexts. What you can do is you can put this in, so form and size, function, performance requirements, user requirements, cost, scale of production and sustainability. Should have done that last week for NEA 5, and you should also have put in some specification points. So they're a list of things that your design must do. Each and every one of these specification points should have come from somewhere in the research that you've been doing in the last 4 or 5 weeks. You can show that by putting in the origin of those research areas. So for example, just looking at this one said it must be just over A4 size. So this has got to have come from something that the clients asked for, and that would be in the client questionnaire. Or it could be something that was found in existing products, that most of the products or similar products are over A4 in size. This one where it says Art Deco features, again, there should be something to do with Art Deco in your research if you're going to put something about Art Deco in your specification points. So for the observation part, which was I think in NEA 1, where you could get some extra high marks for going and doing an observation, the observation here would perhaps be going into the client's area, measuring where it would fit in that client area, and that noticing that all the other areas or the other things that they've got in that area are Art Deco in style, and then maybe a little bit of research or a bit of explanation of what Art Deco is in style. So that is where these have come from here. This function here, saying it's a desktop storage for pencils and 2 types of paper, again is something that the client will have said that they want to put into their storage. Again, just to remind you that this is not something for our context, it's for previous context. The examination board would not let us relate it exactly to your context, as they'd see that as some form of extra help. So it is for a completely different project, completely different context. So don't use them exactly. They're just examples. What we need you to do is to justify why it should be that form and size, why it should be that function. And again, it should come from where the origin is. So if the origin is your client questionnaire, you can say, this is what my client needs for it to fit A4 paper, or this is what my client has specified in their questionnaire. Something as simple as that. It should have Art Deco features, as this is what I found my client's furniture to be all styled the same as when I did my observation. And things like that can be your justification. So your justification is why it's there, why it's important. So you need to fill that in this week. and then the other area you need to fill in is the testing. So moving on to this slide, and it tells you here how you can test it. Now you're going to be testing your specification against your design ideas, against your specification. You're going to be testing your final idea against your specification, and you're going to be testing your actual made product against this specification. So when it says testing, it could be testing in either or all of these areas. So how can you test it? It's going to be A4 by putting some A4 paper in either inside the drawer, or measuring the drawer to make sure that it fits the A4 paper, or designing your design so that it fits the A4 paper. Okay. This one about the Art Deco features is that you can check it against your research points where you've listed what are Art Deco features to make sure that you have got some of those features in your product. So some examples of how you could test here. Have a little read through. Remember again that this will not relate to any of your context. It's just an example of a specification that's been done for a product. Finally, we have the checklist, which always appears, and you should have all these areas checked off now. And these are the areas that you're completing and that you're doing. Okay, it has just started throwing it down outside my house, so you may be able to hear that in the background, but I hope this is okay and that you understand what you need to do. Good luck.